Now, let's take a look at relations between Kenya and Holland, because they two countries have enjoyed bilateral relations for the last 6 decades. The trade ties have focused on agriculture, environmental conservation, water resource management, healthcare, peace and security, among others. And as the two countries commemorate 60 years of bilateral ties, we focus on some of the lessons that Kenya could learn from the Dutch in shaping the country's development and export markets, particularly in port operations and the horticulture sector. Catherine Achenga was in Holland and brings us the details.
25% of the Netherlands is below sea level. This could partly explain the unpredictable changing weather patterns. The weather remains a subject of interest for anyone living or visiting the country. Kenya and the Netherlands have been trade partners for the last 60 years. Kenya boasts of being the largest supplier of flowers, particularly roses, to the Netherlands.
You see that my colleagues on the background, they are picking up trolleys. They receive the information how to distribute them and to know what flower they have to bring to which buyer. And then once the trolley is empty, they go back again and pick up a new trolley. And that process starts at 6 o'clock in the morning.
The flowers from Naivasha, which is thousands of kilometers away, are received and distributed here at the Royal Flora Holland. It is a cooperative venture that is the world's largest international trade platform for flowers and plants.
This building is as big as Vatican City in Rome, and the whole area is as big as the Principality of Monaco in the southern parts of France.
Kenya exports flowers worth nearly 50 billion shillings annually to the Netherlands for sale in Europe. The flowers, initially transported through air freight, would later see calls for a shift to sea freight. This would activate exports from the port of Mombasa to the Rotterdam Industrial Port Complex in the Netherlands, which stretches for 35 kilometers and covers 8,000 hectares of land and is highly mechanized.
The Port of Rotterdam has a lot of experience in what type of facilities, equipment you need at those container terminals, but also the cold stores that you need in able to store the produce at certain temperatures. Also the transport modalities in order to connect to the hinterland. For Port of Rotterdam, those are the consumption regions. For Kenya, it might be the production regions. So, for example, around Naivasha, around Mount Kenya, but also cross-border countries like Uganda, Rwanda. How do you connect to them?
The shift to sea freight transport has largely been necessitated by concerns on the destruction of the planet through carbon emissions and the need to cut back on the carbon footprint. To achieve this, Kenya plans to increase sea freight uptake from the current 5% to 50% by the year 2030, with the midterm goal being to 35% by the end of next year.
At this moment we are facing some problems with sea freight due to the crisis at the Red Sea, unfortunately, because that brings some opportunities for the flower business as well. And I think the most important thing is to keep on working together and looking for a solution.
The move to sea freight transport, despite various challenges such as the Red Sea crisis, is expected to significantly reduce carbon emission by up to 90%, as well as reduce transport costs. This shift will also require better investment in digitized processes and the cold chain systems. Kenya is by far the largest producer of flowers to the Netherlands. The movement of roses is not without thorns, given that it is time for the country to shift from air to sea freight movement to ensure that issues of carbon emissions are addressed. Will the country be able to make this shift to be sustainable? That remains the question. My name is Catherine Achenga, reporting for Channel 1 News in the Netherlands.